Parking tickets are a fact of life for London motorists. Nothing spoils your day like getting one of these, a dreaded penalty charge notice. And a bad day can turn into months of hassle and anxiety if you're convinced the fine should never have been issued in the first place. That was the experience of Lauren Poole, who got a ticket after parking outside her parents' house in Gants Hill in north-east London.
Just after midnight I came out of my parents' house and I saw a parking ticket being issued on my car. I was really confused.
For years, Lauren had left her car in this road during her evening visits. But a new rule meant on some days, parking on the yellow line after midnight was prohibited.
I said, where is the signage? And he referred to one that was across the road, which was twisted.
This is the sign the civil enforcement officer pointed to. It was small and facing away from the road.
It wasn't visible from where I was standing. It was facing the complete wrong direction.
Lauren appealed to Redbridge Council but was told the penalty must stand. A dispute followed, with the amount Lauren was liable to pay being raised from £55 to £110. Finally, the independent adjudicator ordered Redbridge to cancel the ticket. But the council carried on demanding money despite the ruling.
I received another letter from Redbridge saying that you didn't win your case, you were at fault and you are now to pay the £165, and I think there might have been some extra costs in there as well.
The council did eventually concede that they were wrong. She didn't have to pay the fine, and this new sign was put in place several months after Lauren's dispute. Lauren's case isn't unique. Civil enforcement officers have been in touch, telling us there are many inadequate or misleading signs around Redbridge, and that the council is turning a blind eye. I'm meeting a civil enforcement officer, or CEO, who used to work in the area. He doesn't want to be identified, so we'll call him Robert.
Ilford Lane is a prime location. You can bring back 20 to 30 tickets a day. There's a lot of confusion with the signs and people are not aware of it.
Robert wants to tell us about various locations where poor signage means motorists are getting unfair tickets, starting with this busy road in Ilford.
The problem on Ilford Lane is that there are two different signs and two different codes.
Robert is referring to the phone system used by Redbridge Council, which is called Ringo.
Welcome to Ringo.
Each parking space is assigned a location number, and entering that number shows you've paid to park in that particular spot. But in this area, many of the bays have two different numbers.
The one on the machine is the correct one, and the one on the signpost is for a different location.
At this bay, the number is 7075 on the sign, but 7086 on the actual ticket machine. Here it's 7172 on the machine, but 7160 on the sign. Robert says the different numbers mean motorists can get a fine even when they've paid to park. Next, he tells us about other areas with misleading signs.
They might have old signs, or they might not have signs to say it's pay and display. Or there's a yellow line enforced today at this particular time.
Remember, it was a lack of signage for a yellow line that caught Lauren out, while in this location the signs don't have legally required information, such as when time of day restrictions apply. Here there's a sign but no ticket machine, and in some places there are simply no signs at all. This is getting confusing, so we invited parking expert Barry Siegel to give his opinion. First, on those bay numbers.
The issue is that each bay must have one number and only one number. It can't have two numbers. And if you have two numbers, tickets will be issued for illegal parking and motorists will be treated unfairly.
Next, we asked Barry to look at other locations in Redbridge.
Well, in this immediate area, there are no signs. There are no legal signs in the bays, which is absolutely astonishing. Well, these signs are the worst I've ever seen. They're confusing, misleading and unfair to the motorists.
That is a pretty damning verdict. So why hasn't Redbridge Council sorted out its signs? We've spoken to several civil enforcement officers who say they've alerted their bosses to the problems, but the council has failed to put them right.
They've known for a long time and they haven't rectified it. They are still asking us to go ahead and issue tickets.
And to back up their claims, staff working in Redbridge have made a number of secret recordings of their managers, which they've given to the BBC. In this staff briefing, civil enforcement officers voiced their concerns.
You go to the High Road, Woodford Green, and I can show you at least 3 bays that aren't enforceable. You can't bend the rules. We've been bending the rules since I started here.
We know we can get tickets there, even though I know personally I'm doing a wrong.
But their boss, Michael Drick, the contract manager for parking company APCOA, is clear on what the council, referred to as the client, expects.
Client has said we want you to issue tickets there. Now, bottom line is, we've got to do what they tell us.
Responding to our investigation, Redbridge Council told us,
whenever new signs are put up, we are careful to ensure they meet the correct legal requirements. After the BBC alerted us to some confusion in location numbers for the Ringo service, we have carried out an audit, and where any discrepancies have been identified, we have contacted Ringo and asked them to correct this.
Like the rest of London, fewer tickets are being issued in Redbridge than in previous years, and according to our CEOs, that's resulting in more pressure being put on them.
It might not be written down in a book or in our contracts, but there is a target that civil enforcement officers have to meet.
And in another meeting, videoed secretly by the CEOs, contract manager for APCOA, Michael Drick, explains why staff have to perform better.
I'm telling you, this is deadly serious, all right? We have a week to bounce back big time.
His points are reinforced by an officer for Redbridge Council.
At the start of this contract, 8,000 PCNs were being issued a month. It's gradually dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. It's now about 5,500. So something's going wrong somewhere.
Then Mr. Drick sets out the target.
The client expects around about 1.25, 1.3 tickets an hour. I spoke this morning to a group of people, a group of CEOs, who suggested that there weren't many tickets out there. But actually, if there's not many tickets out there, we can get rid of 10 CEOs tomorrow. But if they feel the tickets are not out there, this contract can be terminated with amount of people on immediately.
And CEOs say they're only valued and praised if they meet or exceed their targets. These are emails sent from Redbridge Council to managers at APCOA. One reads, excellent performance in terms of ticket numbers over the weekend, 12.7 per civil enforcement officer. And in another, one high achiever is praised for being on fire, 34 penalty charge notices already. In a statement, Redbridge Council told us they'd endeavour to investigate the evidence in our report. On the issue of ticket targets, they said,
our goal is to ensure that motorists park safely and within the rules, not to arbitrarily increase the number of penalty charge notices issued.
While parking company APCOA said,
we do not condone or tolerate any behaviour that could be interpreted by staff as penalising or reprimanding them for the level of penalty charge notices that they issue.
They also told us,
we have begun an investigation and will take full and appropriate action pending the outcome of this review.
Whatever the outcome of any investigation, the CEOs we've spoken to say they want a fairer system, where their job is about helping motorists and not just fining them.
At the end of the day, it is a business and they need to make their money. I think it's unfair. They're cheating people.